Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jennifer Jefferies, the present-day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those who are wanting to really rock their lives and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. Remember in episode 2 how I talked about the fact that we're emotional beings, and whether we like it or not, we have to deal with our emotions because they impact our health on a daily basis. Well, I'm really excited because I have got my gorgeous friend Karen Osborn here with me today. This is my first guest interview on my podcast. That's pretty exciting for me.
Yay.
You're my first guest.
Yay, I'm first. I like to be
You are
first
my
guest.
first.
Yes, lovely.
I'm super excited to have you here because 20 years ago, we published the Aromatherapy Insight Cards. So if you're watching this on video, you actually see me holding up the pack of the Insight Cards and some of Karen's amazing paintings. So for those of you who are not seeing this in audio form, in video form, you're doing it just in audio form, I will do a link so you can go and have a look at the paintings. But Karen and I created this tool 20 years ago because as a naturopath, I was frustrated that we are emotional beings. And when people are in it, they just can't see it. They can't see what's going on because their logic overrides them. And I wanted a tool so that people could identify what the emotion was and get insight into what the emotion was that was feeding their physical imbalances. And that's where, Karen and I kind of connected. I had this grand plan. I was going to travel the world and take photographs of the plants in their natural state. And that never happened. But I remember when it finally reached a point, I just needed to do this. I wrote a note in my diary on a Post-it note, and I wrote Insight Cards because that's what I knew I wanted to call them. And a few days later, this chick rang me, and I knew of Karen, but I didn't know that she was an artist and all this other kind of stuff. So Karen, why did you call me 20 years ago?
Well, 20 years ago, I'm learning aromatherapy, and being so visual, I'm looking for how can I help my mind remember all these things, and how, we were talking about emotions and the use of aromatherapy and emotions. So I wanted to be able to, something that I could go, yeah, if I look at that, that gives me that connection. That's what it is. And I'm like, where's these cards? So I rang up Jennifer and said, where's these cards? Do you know anyone that's doing these cards? And she went, oh.
Oh, you can paint mine.
Yeah.
Because I had the idea I wanted to do it,
Yeah.
but I didn't know how to do it. So Karen,
Yes.
I know you. My listeners don't know you. Tell me a little bit about you and your artwork, because you'd painted some, you're an amazing artist, by the way. Tell us a bit about you and your work.
Yeah, so Jen, you probably helped me coin it in a phrase, and one of the ones we were talking, or you introduced me and you said, my friend, the intuitive artist. And I thought that's probably the simplest phrase to describe what I do. So all my work comes from a place of a really deep connection. So whether it's, I illustrated the wisdom of the Australian animal cards before we did the aromatherapy cards, and that was about the connection with animals. And then when we did the aromatherapy cards, the connection with the plants. When I do portraits, currently I'm working on the equine series because, I have horses, and so multitudes of things to paint. And it's about what makes my work, I guess, different is I really do that connection with the animal that I'm painting, and that comes through somehow. So it is that sort of thing where people see my artwork, they see and feel the emotion behind it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So the brief I gave you was no brief. I said, oh, you can paint the Aromatherapy Insight Cards.
Yeah.
So I had written the book. If I'm handing it up, if you are looking at the video version, you can see that I wrote the guidebook. And so for a year, I continued to do my work with that. And you painted an essential oil a week. I gave you all of the 42 oils that are in the kit, that are in the book, and you painted them. Tell us a bit about that, because we came together a year later and it was like, oh, it all worked.
Yeah, I think we touched base somewhere in the middle to sort of go, oh, I'm doing this, we've got this synchronizing. But we received this lovely little box. Always remember it. Open the lid and there's 42 cents coming at you. So how I did it, just started at the beginning alphabetically, and I work with one oil a week. So say starting with basil, just using the oil, in every way. So in, putting it on, diffusing it in the home, putting it on me, and sitting with that plant and seeing what comes through and what the plants, how they wanted to be represented. And we worked with, gave Jen a bit of a surprise because I chose
you painted a bunch of chicks.
to portray them as women. Yeah, and that was really, it came to really important to give a nod and a recognition. And today it's even more important, I think, to the women healers that have gone before us, the centuries and centuries and of women working with herbs and working with plants and healing people and being, burnt at the stake for their efforts. And these women persevered, and the knowledge came down, and it's still with us today. And so it's a joy to portray the women working with these plants, and I think that came through really strongly. So yeah, it was a nice way to be able to show the emotion as well. So yeah.
It really was. And so that's just the thing. So the insight card, guys, I remember when I talked about the triangle of health in episode 2, if you have not listened to that, please go back to it. But I talked about how there's always 3 parts to us getting ill: the physical, the emotional, and the, like the backstory, the history of our attitudes and beliefs, our growing up, the way we've learned to grow up and deal with life and stuff. It's always 3 elements. And I love aromatherapy the most out of all the modalities I studied, because it works on all 3 parts of the triangle. But most people only use essential oils for the physical. They don't think of using essential oils for the emotional. And I studied aromatic kinesiology with the gorgeous Robbie Zeck over 20 years ago. And that was where I first got my interest in it, and then went off and did my own work in it. And it's amazing, because we are emotional beings. And so you painted, by immersing yourself in the oil, you painted the vibe of that oil in a painting. And they are the most amazing paintings of women. And so I will put a link so that people can have a look at some of the paintings. And I love that I own a few of these originals. It's so good. But then it's like, then you can use the essential oils for a practical basis to get insight on what's emotionally going behind it. So we might do just for fun, a little 1-card reading. What do you reckon?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So really simple. If when you're using the insight cards, you just think, what's a question? And it could be just, what essential oil would support me best today? The biggest thing in forming a question is that you don't go saying, is orange oil good for me today? It can't be something, or is it good for me to eat this chocolate? Yes or no. It's not about having a yes, no answer. It's like, what information, what insight can you get into regards this? So, or if you're a person having crappy sleep, it might be, what essential oils will help me with my crappy sleep? Or I'm struggling with my daughter at the moment, what essential oils would help support us in our relationship? You can ask any of those kind of questions and then see what essential oils you draw. And then it's about using the essential oils. But if we just ask, what essential oil do we need to share with the world here today? In having you as my first guest on my podcast, I'm just shuffled and I'm not looking, and I've drawn marjoram.
Yay.
Okay, so marjoram essential oil. It says, you describe the painting for me for a moment.
Yeah, so the woman in the painting is she's sitting by the pond and she's reflecting, and she's just sort of a little bit stuck there in her own self, just reflecting on life, what's happening, a little bit of worry there. Overriding though, she's still peaceful. So yeah.
So all essential oils they have, and it's not that they're positive and the negative, that's not what it's about. When you're out of balance, in the state that you're worrying about things just for the sake of it, that's when you'll generally attract marjoram oil in a reading. So for instance, marjoram, I wrote in the book, stop obsessive thinking and remove negative groove from your brain. Feeling that no one cares or understands you. Creating anxiety for the sake of it does not achieve positive results. See anxiety for what it is and release it. You are free to do what you want. Marjoram will support you through the toughest, most anxious times, but remember to accept help when it's offered. Marjoram oil will preserve your energies for times when depletion can occur. Be the idealist and banish anxiety from your life. So even about this, so I just asked, what essential oil did we want to share in regards, to this podcast today? And so I attracted marjoram. So I can be like, oh, I can have a little bit of worry or concern, taking it, well, we've actually overnight, this is all part of it too. We've launched the Aromatherapy Insight Card online course. Oh! So it's like anything, when you produce something new, there's a little bit of, how will it be received? Things like that. And that'll be all that is. So it's just, it's coming through in the reading to say, Jen, don't worry. Don't be a dick. Use marjoram oil and stop worrying. That's it. That's how I would read it. And then I could use that oil, whether in a diffuser, on some aromatherapy jewelry. I could dilute it down and use it as a body oil or something like a little pulse point roll on. I would use it to all the normal rules of aromatherapy and ways that we dilute oils. And that would be how I would be able to integrate that oil into my life today to help exactly where it's at. It came through today that it's wanting to be used. But at times, some people want more insight. So they need we do 3-card readings, which is for a bit more information, all the way up to 11-card readings. And they're all the things we teach. Usually you and I are traveling around the world teaching this face-to-face in our 2-day workshop, but we can't travel. We just can't. And so that's why we've decided to, over the last bit, do all the recordings, and we've recorded it all and made it an online workshop. So they don't have to be an aromatherapy practitioner, just someone who loves aromatherapy. This is, Christmas is coming. Apart from that, people are still in lockdown around the world. And what we know is that online courses are a great way to keep people's brains sane while they're kind of locked down or restricted. But this is something that's very practical they can be using for their day-to-day life as well, which is really cool, hey?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually really like it. I love traveling around the world with you and teaching, but it's still a limited number of people, and this just opens it to everyone, people who can't travel to us when we travel, for example. So yeah, now we're here.
Yeah, we've been bugged for years to do this. The whole pandemic stopped us in our tracks, and so went, okay, now we'll actually get it done. So and it is
we can. Yeah.
So guys, we'll put a link in the show notes. You can check it out if you like. And we'll put a link to the insight cards in the show notes too. I'll also put a link to Karen's artwork, because Karen is a fabulous artist. How would people follow you on social media and stuff, Karen? Where can they watch what you do?
Yeah, so social media, Facebook page, Karen Osborn Art. Same on Instagram, Karen with the little gap. And Osborn Art.
Karen _Osborn Art.
Karen _Osborn _art.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
On Insta. Yep.
Yeah, just make it easier to read. And yeah, I'm up there putting things about my work and what I'm doing all the time.
Yeah, you are an intuitive artist. And I love that we were able to collaborate 20 years ago to be able to help people get the full benefit of essential oils, not just the physical, but actually work with emotions as well. Every episode, I always give you a healthy life hack. Well, the healthy life hack today is obviously to just really, go back and listen to episode 2, where I talk about the triangle of health, which is the thinking behind the insight cards. And healthy life hack number 2 is to actually think about using aromatherapy essential oils for their emotional uses, not just their physical. We are emotional beings, whether we like it or not. It's time to start addressing that area of our wellness, because that is needed for us to truly live from a place of prevention. Remember, if you know someone who might be interested in this as a gift, check out that link. Christmas is coming. Oh my God, Karen, it's less than 3 months away.
Stop it. I know.
It is really, really, really cool.
Yeah. But I was just saying to Jen before, my sister's learning eco dyeing, and she's just taking that by storm. And she's just doing all these online courses. She's just this monster for knowledge. And so it's so easy. The family is just gifting her these courses. Like, go do this one, here's this one. And it's a lovely way to actually learn. So it's opening my eyes as well to just what a really nice way it is to learn. You get to network with so many people. All sorts of things come off an online course. So I love that.
Yeah, and you actually have lifetime access to our online course, and you get to be put into a Facebook group with us.
Yeah,
so you can ask any questions ongoing about the emotional side of the oils. So yeah, that's about that. I will put all the details in the show notes, I promise. next episode, guys. Make sure you're subscribing so you always listen in. You get to hear what I've got to share. And next episode is totally about that we're not one body system. We are a body of body systems. That's next episode. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review where you're listening in from. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. If you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below and join my newsletter, and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails, and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.